The Cambridge Dictionary defines the word legacy as something that is part of your history or that remains from an earlier time. And Black's Law describes service as the performance of some useful act or series of acts for the benefit of another. An intangible commodity in the form of human effort, labor, skill, or advice. A perfect description of what Sho-Me Power strives to provide each of our members as we continue to build a legacy of service.
I've been thankful to God throughout my life. I've always said that He's had a hand on my life throughout. I went to work for Sho-Me Power on February the 12th, 1951. I went and talked to Howard Filmer. I was working in St. Louis at the time, and he wanted to send me to Diggins as a serviceman. I didn't have enough experience in the hot work that I wanted to accept that. I told him no. I said, I want to go to work on the line crew where I can get the experience of working hot stuff and everything. So he put me on the crew with Jim Williams. He was the line foreman. It seemed to me that everything came natural to me. If I could see something done, I'd never forget it. I worked with him up until 1954. And we had an accident that happened at Crocker. A young man named, we always called him Chief. His name was Dale Long. And he and I buddied together, pole buddied together all the time. He was about 6'5", and he was tall enough that I could stand on the pole with him and our feet didn't bother each other. We got along great together, all of us did, and we always worked hard. But what brought about the accident, we'd been working all over the substation. It was dead. It wasn't heated up. And we just heated the substation up, and we went in for the weekend, and we went back on Monday. And we were stringing in a new circuit. And boys, everything back then, in the early part of my work, we didn't have bucket trucks. We did it all by climbing. We got ready to go up to put a block and string ropes through, and I had my tools on, and the chief had his on, and we always argued about who was going to get it. And he said, no, he said, I'm going to get it. I don't know, in my mind, I always thought maybe perhaps if there had been a caution sign, something to remind the person that the substation was hot. But anyhow, he climbed up the tower, and Jim and I, the foreman, standing down the substation. And the first thing we knew, he was up on a truss where the blades of the switches were open, but they were hot. And he had 1 foot already in between the switches. And I looked at him, I said, Jim, he's too close now. I said, he ain't gonna get out of there. Jim hollered at him, and his hand went out just like he was going to bounce himself with the blade of the switch. And it's hard to believe how much fire. It was at least probably 8 to 10 foot high, covered his whole body except for his left side, the arm and his left side of his face. I went up to get him, got him tied in and let him down. And if a person's never experienced something like that before, in my mind, I could smell burnt flesh in I thought it seemed to me like it lasted for a month. They sent him to the hospital. We went up Friday night to visit with him, and they told us that they would let one person in. That would be it. And he said, I want to see Ed Varney. The next morning, this was April the 18th, we had a storm break. That was the morning that he passed away. And I began to think about it, and I thought, well, between life and death is safety.
Over the course of Sho-Me's 77 years of existence, we have unfortunately suffered several occupational fatalities, including 3 fatal electrical contacts. From my perspective, a legacy is something carried on from one to another. These contacts represent not only the altered legacy of those 3 individuals, but everyone around them. It's with that perspective in mind that Sho-Me punctuated its legacy of service to our employees by joining numerous other cooperatives in NRECA's Commitment to Zero initiative.
The Commitment to Zero initiative began in 2016. We began looking or getting a sense that serious accidents were consistently happening across the network. It wasn't specific to any particular state or region. They just kept hitting us from every side, and it hit at various times in strong cooperatives, cooperatives with low injury rates, cooperatives with high injury rates, and we began to work with Federated Rural Insurance Exchange and also our safety professionals around the country to zero in to find the common causes. By far and away, the number one cause, making up about 45% of these incidents, were electrical contacts. When we dug a little deeper and went down, we realized that these incidents were caused by shortcuts relating to our life-saving rules, things like gloves, sleeves, testing and grounding, appropriate cover, those things that we've been trained in ever since we entered this field. And so we began to target those things and start to work together to say what kind of recommendations in terms of countermeasures or solutions could we make to help mitigate these things in the future and recommend to leaders in our cooperative network. It is very encouraging to me to know that a G&T like Sho-Me would have commitment at the top of the organization, not only from the senior staff, but from the board. And the rationale for that, which we researched thoroughly, was that a commitment that's voluntarily made based on your internal values, that's public and in writing, has a great effect on people's behaviors. And it will actually shift behaviors from the 25% range as high as 70, 75%. So it's very encouraging to me when the board, the senior staff, the CEO sets the example at the top of the organization and leads with a commitment to this initiative for the sake and the caring of their employees. And so we appreciate that commitment at Sho-Me, and we're actually trying to instill and hopefully model that same behavior in all of our co-ops across the country.
Commitment to the safety of our employees is not the only area we focused on furthering our legacy of service over the past year. The Little Niangua River Hydro Project has a legacy of its own. It's been serving our members now for nearly 9 decades. The very recent past has seen revived efforts at improving operations at this facility.
I've been coming down here since I was about 8 years old. You know, that's about 51 years. That's a long time. But to be able to be part of this project, you know, to protect the health and the safety of the river, that means a lot to me. And that's one of the reasons this project started, because there was a potential that you could have an oil spill, or, you know, you could have a natural disaster and lose the oil in the river.
By replacing an oil-filled transformer with a dry type of transformer, there's obvious benefits for the environment surrounding the facility. We eliminate a lot of risks with oil getting into the river.
To get the crane down here was a big hurdle to do, because the road wasn't designed for that size of crane that we had to use. You know, the crane was a 120-ton crane, had a boom jib 165 foot long, and to put the counterweights alone on it, they weighed 68,000 pounds, so they had to be hauled down separate. So the road had to be widened. At one particular part of the curve is like 400 ton of rock that had to be put there, where they could safely bring the crane in and out of here.
By removing what was at the time the oldest transformer on Sho-Me's system, Sho-Me immediately realized improved personnel safety, reliability, and environmental stewardship.
It may seem somewhat nerve-wracking to lift a 22,000-pound transformer in the air and set it on top of a roof, but working with Gabriel, that's worked with Sho-Me since 1977, and between our training and equipment and their training and equipment, it's just part of the job.
We don't know what the next 30, 40, or even 50 years holds. But by making provisions such as these, it grants us the greatest amount of flexibility to continue the legacy of Tunnel Dam.
You know, the co-ops are built on 7 principles, and I don't think any one of them is more important than cooperation among cooperatives.
I think there are a lot of different aspects of running a cooperative efficiently, and each co-op has specific tasks or areas that they are really good at. At Sho-Me, especially here in recent years, we are really trying to reach out to our members and let them know some of the areas that we feel we're strong in, some areas where we feel that we can lend a cost advantage to them and a helping hand.
For us, one of those areas is information technology. IT is a crucial part of any business that manages customers or members, and co-ops are no different. We're currently in the process of helping one of our members modernize their data center by installing some server hardware and virtual infrastructure. This can be done at a much lower price than if they had used an independent contractor. And since Sho-Me is familiar with the way a co-op's network should work, it has really streamlined the project.
We also have some security projects going on with a couple of our members, which is another area we feel we excel here at Sho-Me. We are striving to deploy multiple turnkey solutions for members' headquarters facilities this year that provides access control, video surveillance, and burglar systems. These efforts provide competitive, low-cost solutions to help ensure our members are protected.
Things we've been able to do for our members are really exciting. Sho-Me helping its members with these types of projects ultimately benefits the end user by keeping projects on time and under budget. And it's a continual reminder of how well the cooperative system continually works for its member owners.
What we have here today is kind of a unique situation in that Sho-Me was rebuilding their transmission line through here They put a new steel line in, and we were underbuilt on the old transmission line for about 4 miles through here. This stretch that right here that we're looking at and we're working on today, we happened to be on their poles, and their poles weren't moving. They were going to relocate the whole line, so we were staying on their poles. But we got to thinking, you know, this circuit of ours is an old number 4 ACSR line. It was at the end of life. It was too small. It was kind of getting into overload circuit. The reliability was getting down on it. So we came up with the unique idea to repurpose the 69 conductor and actually just physically lower it down to where a workable height for our trucks would be, and cut off the poles, wreck out the transmission insulators in the top of the pole, cap the poles, and then we would have a beefed up distribution line with a 4-aught ACSR conductor. So what we see here today is the guys transferring both ends to the distribution line and tying in the 4-aught ACR as a 7200 distribution. What makes this project really unique is the collaboration between Sho-Me Power and Howell Oregon Electric, in that there was no other realm in the investor-owned world that this would be a possibility. You know, they worked well with us, we worked well with them. That saved their contractor wrecking this wire out. We took over ownership of the line. And what this is going to do for us is enhance reliability. It's going to improve voltage drop on the line and also increase the capacity due to the bigger size of wire. So my hat's off to the staff at Sho-Me and the leadership at Sho-Me for making this happen. It was an easy transition and really a win-win for both co-ops, in that we get to repurpose this line and use it for our benefit and really enhance the co-op's plant in the same instance.
The title of this video is A Legacy of Service. You have now seen and heard about several things that are part of our history, which can be critical if anything is to be regarded as a legacy. A legacy can be a gift or a bequest from one to another, and while the length of time that an action or service is provided is important, we hope this video illustrated that our passion and commitment are just as important as how long that work or service has been performed. 2018 has been a challenging but rewarding year, as we have found new ways to help serve our members, improve the reliability of our traditional electrical and telecommunications services, and have eliminated the financial uncertainty of a multi-year class action suit by reaching a settlement during the year. The task of preparing this year's annual report message required several employees of Sho-Me to dig a little deeper and learn more about our history than what some of us might have forgotten. It really is valuable to review some of the significant events of the past, not just for developing content for an annual report, but to learn about the successes and mistakes of our predecessors, which we hope will inspire and educate today's group of employees to avoid the mistakes but embrace the good lessons learned. After reviewing some of those pictures from days gone by, I think we all appreciate the tools and equipment that make the completion of today's work activities much more efficient than similar efforts of 50 or 60 years ago. Every year seems to present new obstacles for our continued success, but in spite of the many regulatory requirements, political obstacles, cybersecurity threats, aging electrical and telecommunications infrastructure issues, your board of directors and the employees of Sho-Me Power Electric Cooperative embrace those challenges. The answers in meeting those challenges may involve acquiring new skill sets, incorporating shared services with other cooperatives, adopting new technology platforms that improve interdepartmental and intercompany data sharing and communications. But regardless of the methods chosen, we will remain committed to serving our members with the passion that may be viewed in years to come as additional legacies. Thank you again for being a significant part of helping rural Missouri be a great place to live and work. All of us at Sho-Me Power Electric Cooperative are just as excited to to be a part of the dynamic solutions needed to meet the challenges of tomorrow, as we are proud of the efforts in our past that have made our legacy of service a great story to share.